Celebrity rehab day. I want to say 25, but I really don't know at this point. Today was solo therapy. We talked about my dreams, not like what I dream about in life, but like how since I've landed here, I have had dreams of my mother every single fucking day. Every day, even when I'm having like during the day naps, dreaming about that bitch. At night, dreaming about that bitch. And not only my mom, but like my whole family. Like, I think it was last week or the week before, I had a dream that I could fly. Like, I could literally fly without an airplane. And I flew home to where my family and my mother was. And it's just like every fucking night. And it's so frustrating. It doesn't matter how many intentions I set before. I'm not going to dream about. I still dream about her. And I'm just exhausted. I find myself waking up so goddamn irritated. And I tried not to let it affect my day. But it'll take me at least half the day to get to a point where I'm like, not like, or say this bitch! And it is just, it leaves me exhausted. It leaves me, so I don't think I've gotten a single day where I woke up and I was like, I feel well rested, because every night I'm fighting demons. By demons, I mean my family. And I've purposely not seen them. I've not talked to my mother in 2 years. I haven't talked to my brother in 5 years. My older sister, I don't know when's the last time I talked to that bitch. I hope to never talk to her again, God willing. But now they're just showing up in my dreams all the time. And so we were talking about dream scripting. That's what she told me. It's when, instead of, because popular to contrary belief, and what the spiritual girlies keep saying is set an intention before you sleep, and then you won't see her. That's not how science works. Because when you set an intention of, I don't want to see this, I don't want to see this, don't think about the white polar bear. Don't think about the white polar bear. You're thinking about a white polar bear. That's how the mind works. And so instead of trying not to think about the white polar bear, it's when I do think about the white polar bear, how do I recalibrate or get myself out of that situation in my dreams? So dream scripting is when you write down, okay, I know already I got to accept the fact that I'm going to see that bitch when I sleep, and the rest of the demon clan, when it baby's kids when I sleep. So when I do, how can I rewire my brain to, instead of just accept it and feel stuck in the dream, be like, okay, every time I see her in my dream, she shrinks to the size of a mouse and I put her into a jar. Or every time I see my family, all of their heads blow off. And so dream scripting is writing that down before you go to sleep, so to train your brain to not keep you stuck in the goddamn dream with these mongrels that you don't want to see. I'm getting pissed off. I've purposely done my best not to be in contact with these people, but it's like being back in Edmonton, my brain's like, hey girl, guess what? Guess what's on my mind? This is what we're going to think about. And I was just telling her how it feels like I go to therapy during the day, I'm processing. I go home at night, I go to sleep, I'm processing. I am processing fucking trauma 24/7. I do not have a break. I'm exhausted. I'm losing my goddamn mind. So dream scripting. And also I was just talking to her about how I feel I haven't been being very nice to myself when it comes to this topic, or the topic of my mother. But every time I think about her, I just feel like an idiot, and I feel weak, and I feel like I'm never going to get over it, because I know she's... Excuse me. She's not. She's not thinking about me. She doesn't give a fuck about me. And I'm the only one over here crying and being like, oh, she hurt me. And she was trying to tell me, my therapist was saying that we can compare the work that I'm doing to me having a house. And it's the house that my mom gave me. And the foundation of the house that my mom gave me, it has fucking termites. There's bed bugs. There's no insulation in that bitch. The foundation is shit. She built the foundation to my house and it was a terrible foundation. So now what I'm doing is I've lifted up the house and we're going, and you know how in horror movies there'll be a house with a basement and you know there's some evil in that basement. She's like, you've just been avoiding the basement of your house for all this time. You say, ooh, I don't know what's down there, but it's kind of scary. So I'm just not going to go in the basement. But now we've lifted up the house and we've got to go in the basement and we're breaking down the foundation and getting rid of the termites. My family, they're the termites. I just, I hate them so much. Not the youngest two, but all the other ones. I wouldn't mind if they with my mama. And I know that's not a healthy thing to say. Healing. Now God's still working on me. He's still working on me. But we are lifting up the house and going in and tearing down the foundation. And it's heavy work. It's scary work. When your house is lifted up and you're going through the foundation and the foundation is torn apart, you get to a point where you're like, oh my God, am I ever going to fix this foundation? Is the house ever going to be good again? And that's where I'm at. I'm just like, am I ever going to fix it? It feels like I've been pulling out so much of nothing is usable in the foundation I was given. Nothing is usable. I was given a shit house. My mom built me a fucking shit house. And then we got to the topic of, she was like, I haven't met your mom, so I know I can't formally diagnose her, but I was just telling her about how I was talking to, I won't even say a friend, I was talking to a penis last month, because that's all they were. A penis that knows my family. And I was just telling them about how I'm in this therapy program and how one of my main goals, or like one of the reasons that inspired me, is because I don't want to end up like my mom. And he was like, oh, but I know your mom. Your mom's like a wonderful person. Okay, who knows her better, you or me? Oh, okay. And that's what I get a lot. I remember one of my friends growing up was like, I remember when I had gotten assaulted and your mom would come to my school every day and she would pick me up and she would check on me. And sometimes she would take me out for ice cream and just talk to me and make sure I was okay. And my jaw was like, I said, who the fuck's mom are you talking about? I know it's not the bitch that I live with. I know it's not her. My mom found out I got assaulted. She kicked me out of the house. So we can't be talking about the same bitch. But my therapist was saying that from what I've told her so far, it sounds like my mother is a covert narcissist. And a covert narcissism is different from like just outright narcissism, because it's like when they're in the community, they very, very much care about how they appear in community settings and being like a good person and doing things for other people. But it's only the people that are closest to them, their closest relationships, where they drop that facade, that mask, and are able to be their true victimizing self. So people on the outside, it feels like you're being gaslit not only by the narcissist, but you're also being gaslit by people on the outside that are like, oh my God, your mom is such a nice person. She helped me with this. She's so that. And it's like, okay, maybe to you, I don't get to see that side of her. And she was just telling me how brave I am, how brave I've been basically all my life to survive all of the shit that I've been through. And I told her, I don't feel brave. I don't think I've ever felt brave in my life. And she was like, well, that's the thing. Brave isn't a feeling, it's action. You may not feel like you're brave, but the actions that you have taken have been brave. So you don't need to feel it. Sooner enough, the feeling will line up with the action. So here I am, destroying the foundation of this fucking crack house that my mother built for me. She said, obviously, you're thinking about her all the time. She was the one that programmed your foundation. She was the only caregiver you had. You didn't have anybody else to lean on. So, of course, she's going to take up a big portion of your mind. And that programming is something, she was just telling me how we have the misconception that healing is like you work on this thing once and then I've healed it and then you keep moving on, where it's like, no, you're gonna have to keep on working on this all throughout your life. And she was saying, because she also is estranged from her mother, and she was like, at different parts of my life I've had to go back to therapy and keep working on it. Like when I was pregnant, I went back to therapy because I noticed like, oh, this foundation is kind of sinking again. I thought that I worked on all this and went back. And after she had her child, she was like, oh, I think I need to go back and look at the foundation. But the more that you work on it, the easier it is every time. So it's not always going to be, we have to lift up the house and break down the entire foundation. Sometimes you're just going to need to hire a handyman for the weekend to work on the foundation. So I'm going to try to be optimistic of getting to that point. And until then, I will be scripting in my dream that every time I see that lady, she will shrink to the size of a cockroach. And I'm going to step on her in the dream. And then she was just talking about how everybody has a mischievous little liar inside of them, and that's the voice that says all of the mean things to you. Like in my case, my mischievous little liar tells me that I'm never going to be better. I'm always going to be this scared. I'm always going to be this sad. And my mother, the way that she treated me is always, it's going to keep me fucked up forever. And she was like, you got to give a name to your mischievous little liar so that you can separate it from yourself, because that voice is a liar. It's not you. It's just the mean bitch that's trying to keep you down. And so I named my mischievous little liar Mariah, because one of my best friends swears up and down that my mother's name is Mariah, no matter how many times I tell her that it's not. And I love that. And I'm never going to correct her. So my mischievous little liar's name is Mariah because it's very close to Maria, but it's not. And Mariah's a fucking bitch, and everything she says is a lie. And my therapist said she's bald-headed too. She's like, when I think of Mariah, I can tell she has bad hair. I said, yeah, she's bald-headed, but nobody will tell her because she's just such a mean bully. So that was Celebrity Rehab today. Tomorrow I have group. I don't know. I'm not really feeling group, but I know it's probably just because of the people I'm with. I don't know. And I'm probably going to be staying for like another month or 6 weeks over the time that I was slated to stay. Don't know how I feel about that yet, but I will be taking salsa dancing and pole dancing classes this weekend, so I'm optimistic and excited about that. Bye.